Welcome once again to Profiles. I'm Ed Highland, and we have a special treat for you in our program today. In celebration, let's strike up the band. Greenwood is the man behind the music and the UCF Marching Knights. The Marching Knights are celebrating a quarter century of music and showmanship, and Dr. Greenwood has been there much of that time as director of band since 1988. Welcome. 250 members of the marching band. It seems like they get a little bigger and better every year. Tell us a little bit about the organization you've got in place right now.
Well, bless their hearts, every one of them. We have a great time, and since 1988 we've tried to keep building on, keep getting more students involved in the program. And right now, our 25th year, they're very proud of it. We have a lot of alumni support this year because a lot of kids have come through the program and helped us get where we are now. So we're moving and having a good semester so far.
I want to talk about the fundraising efforts and some of the things that are going on because the band needs some things, and I know that's what you're working toward as far as one of the goals. But give me a timeline, if you will, what you've seen, some of the changes from about 1988 when you first started, the growth, and kind of the direction you're headed. What did you start with, and what are you trying to create? How has this evolved?
Well, for a marching band, the purpose of the marching band, there are two purposes for the marching band. One is to give students some elective credit. Okay, they have to pay for credit. Those students actually pay money to do this, but it's an extension of their high school program. And so, but the other purpose is to support the athletic events and add that college spirit that everybody wants. So that's the purpose behind it, is to make sure that we are doing what we need to do to make all the activities in athletics really special, really big time, plenty of entertainment for everybody from all areas.
Now, how do you go about doing that, though? I mean, obviously, these days people are, I'll use the term jaded, but people like to see entertainment. I mean, you know, it's difficult to really get out there and compete, if you will, with some of the many spectaculars and this sort of thing. And you guys do it all the time. And each year you have to kind of give the fans something new and hopefully keep the kids involved and entertained as well, because they got to be excited doing all this.
Yeah. You know, when I first got here, we did a research project. Now, I know that's a strange word to use in athletic events, but we actually did a research project. About 15 schools across the country on a Saturday afternoon passed out a pamphlet to everybody in the audience. So we had like 250,000, 300,000 questionnaires passed out on one Saturday. What do you like at halftime? And I had a whole bunch of questions. People like to recognize forms on the field. They like to see color, like to see lots of activity, lots of different things. They like to recognize the music. So they told us what'll keep them interested at halftime. So we just keep building on that. What are the new songs? What are the old songs? What can we do to make sure that they stay focused and enjoy halftime, I guess.
Does it make a difference in terms of what? I guess I've always been kind of amazed when I'm seeing the games and you see different football teams, different football games, and it seems like there's a slightly different approach each time. Someone may, let's say, do 60s programs, songs, for example. Yep. Some may focus more on doing, pinwheels and circles and things in the middle of the field. How do you decide which direction you want to go, and how do you come up with the combinations that are so important?
Well, we've got quite a good staff to help with that. The assistant director, band director, is Ron Ellis, and he's very helpful with drill design. He's been doing that for 10 years. Kurt Gay is our percussion instructor, and he is also really good at that. He's got a lot of experience. And we have majorette instructors. Lynanne has been with us for 15 years, and dance instructors and other people like that. Even outside of the university, some Disney people have been also helpful in helping us do shows, because they're the best at shows. So we've learned a lot from those kind of productions. And then we get together at the beginning of the year with the student staff and say, okay, students, what's great out there? What's new? What do you want to do? And so we get input from all kinds of people and start creating, depends on how many home games we have. We try to do a different show for every home game.
The term drill, I know, comes up an awful lot. I remember it from my high school days. And drill also reminds me of military, because there's a precision.
Sounds terrible, doesn't it?
Well, it does in some ways, but at the same time, there's a precision element, which, I mean, it has to all mesh together very carefully. you've got to, these kids have to just really be on the ball to be able to get out there and to make the recognizable designs. And unlike myself, walking and chewing gum is difficult for me.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys have to be able to march and form patterns and do all the different things, and at the same time, play music.
It probably looks easy for people who have never done it.
It doesn't look
just
easy. It never looks
walking around
easy to
out
me,
there,
that's
go
for
over
sure.
there, go over there. No. Timing is the central issue out on the marching field, because you have all these people and they're spread out all over the field, and so it's like a football team. The offensive line has to know when to move together, and they practice that an incredibly amount of time. And so it's all about movement. During band camp, we'll do exercises so they can get their feet down. I mean, something as basic as that. Find the beat. Everybody hitting the ground at the same time. Everybody turning at the same time. So although it's basic, it's not easy at all to do that. And unfortunately, these kids had good experience in high school, so they come with some sort of idea. But you're right. Timing is a central issue out there, and most of our rehearsals are finding different ways to get them to do the same thing at the same time.
It's physically demanding, I'm sure, as well, because you're carrying instruments, as well as often, especially in Florida, you're wearing an outfit. There's a heavy uniform that's often worn. Is there it may sound silly, but is there an exercise regimen? I mean, you basically have to, is there a training program that's involved with this as well, or are the kids kind of on their own in that regard?
Particularly during band camp, we don't do push-ups or running exercises like that. However, our dancers do, and some of the other people that really, really need to be fit. But for the most part, it takes care of itself. We do an hour-and-a-half rehearsal a day. By the time you do that rehearsal, it's been known to get hot every now and here in Florida also. So they're losing water constantly. So,
is with the football analogy you brought up just a moment ago, is there a playbook per se for you get together with the
question.
team, as it were, and go out on the field that way?
Well, each student will get Ron will print out a set of charts, and he's decided where Johnny's going to go on page 1 and where he's going to go on page 2 to create all this look, I guess. So each student will have everybody's chart, and so all the instructions are on that chart, and so we go, okay, everybody, look at page 1. Now we're going to get to page 2. Look at how you get there. Look at how your track, and then we'll practice that a number of times and give them ideas. And
do videos also, and then go back and review?
Not so much, and pretty soon when we expand our facilities, that'll be a great thing. Right now we can't get on top of the band. We can't see the band from the top, and we need a big tower to do that.
You bring up the facilities, and I know that's one of the reasons for the fundraising effort, because I don't think you can get the whole band in the current facilities. Is that correct?
Don't even try.
Okay.
No.
I mean, how do you work this out? I mean, obviously,
we
Florida's
stand in the rain a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. The football team I read that the other day, where somebody was worried about the football team when it's lightning, so that's why they built this facility so they could still practice. And the band guys, we're sitting out there trying to outguess the weather, basically. And
often carrying large pieces of metal at the same time.
Around trees and stuff. Yeah. No, I make light of it, but it is really important. It's something we take really seriously, because we look at weather reports. If it looks like it's going to be inclement, we get on the website and you can go to a place and see how close the showers are. And I'd rather not do that, of course, but right now that's what we'll
obviously
do.
Safety first.
Got to be safe.
How do you anticipate? Obviously, you need new facilities, but do you anticipate is 250 kind of the working number, the best working number for you right now, or is there room for growth? Do you get more?
That's an interesting question. We're always looking to grow, but there is a number, and it will probably be around 300 people. Okay. You get any more than that on the field, and nobody's got room to move around, so it all looks the same all the time. Some bands like to have the biggest band ever, and we're not really interested in that.
Now, the band facilities, a big room, or is there some special needs required for band, for rehearsal, for practicing and storage and such?
Most people think about band. Most laymen, when they think about band, they think about marching band. In fact, I like to find out what people think. One time, I was going through an airport, and I would ask individuals, "What do you think of?" Just anybody who walked by, they thought it was pretty weird. "What do you think about when you think about band?" And every one of them would say either marching band or John Philip Sousa, right? Those two things. And most people, that's what they think band is. But there are so many things in the band program that, additional to that, there are concert bands, jazz bands, all kinds of different ensembles that music majors are in. And by the way, not many music majors are in the marching band. Most of the band is made up of engineers and computer people. Actually, every college is represented in the marching band. It's pretty neat because they bring a different energy than music majors. Anyway, I got off the point there. But
so it's fun. I mean, this is something they just get into.
They absolutely love it. They're great performers, and that's the reason. You ask those students that are in the band, why are you in the band now? Or ask alumni, why were you in the band? And a lot of them will talk about the great friendships they make, and that's true. We have a lot of people who end up getting married together. You know, we have couples all over the place. Band trips are interesting, but it's fun, and that's the reason they do it, and they love to perform. And just if they could, anytime they get the audience to respond, they'll just go out and work even harder the next time. That's what it's all about for them.
So as director of band, you're looking for some place to put everybody under one umbrella, basically.
Well, a band program, the arts, if you want to get right down to it, cost a lot of money. And I used to get a lot of grief, I guess, because I would do a lot of budget proposals, and here comes Greenwood again with another budget proposal. It's not my fault that sousaphones cost what they cost, you know, and it's not my fault that a field cost what it costs to prepare and maintain. And so, you know, a band needs facilities. They need instruments, they need indoor facilities, they need recording facilities, they need a lot of stuff. There's no question about it. Football teams do, and, you know, football teams said the same thing years ago. We need stuff in order for us to be first rate.
I don't know if this is a figure you have at the top of your head, but band uniforms, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, those are not cheap either, are they?
About 7 or 8 years, we'll go through a different design, and that's pretty much the life. I guess we're in our 4th year now, and we're starting to look at now, trying to tell the university, this is coming up in 4 years. Can we start putting some money back so it's not such a panic? Probably spend about $75,000 to $100,000 on a new set of uniforms.
Wow. And then there's the cleaning bill, because in Florida they got to sweat.
There's a cleaning bill, and they do sweat, and we have a sorority and a fraternity within the band, KK Psi and TBS, and those are national fraternities, by the way, and sorority, and they usually take care of that for us.
I see.
We bought the kind of uniforms that we can wash ourselves.
That's a team effort
Yep,
for you right
that's
there.
great.
Let's take just a moment, a break, if you will, and because I wanted to show folks a little bit more what we've been talking about. I kind of teased everybody at the beginning of the program, but we've got about a minute or more of a presentation. This was the kickoff luncheon, if you will, and the team was really, this was kind of the launching for the football season, but we wanted to show some video just to give folks that may not have had a chance to see the band a little bit about what they can do and how they do it together.
Yep.
Let's take a look. In just a second, but I wanted to note the thing that really caught my eye as we were putting all this together is the intensity. I mean, to a person, to a kid out there, they've got this look on their face like they are focused on what is going on.
They're serious about it, and like I said a little while ago, they love to perform. And that particular piece that we were playing, that's our chant. Now, years ago, people heard people around UCF watched other universities have some sort of piece of music that's very simple that everybody can recognize on our campus. And we play the chant on offense. That's supposed to be like knights and chants and you know, that kind of thing. And actually, that's taken from, our chant is actually stolen from the movie Excalibur. If you watch that movie, those notes are in there. So yeah, that's a big part of our thing. Cheerleaders like to move to that, and so our audience should know that when when we're on offense and we're playing that, they should be singing along with us. The whole stadium is supposed to be singing that tune, and we're driving.
The creative part of all this, I mean, obviously there are some songs and those are written and you do interpretations of those, but so much of what you have has to be rearranged for a 250 person setup. Some of the original type things or stolen, as you refer to, from Excalibur, those are things to make it that are creative, that put into it. Is there a team that handles that part of it as well?
Well, some of that has to be hired out. There are arrangers all around the country that will say that we know their specialty, and when we think of the piece or the song we want played, we'll say, oh, this person is good at this, and again, there's some very good arrangers out at Disney that are also very good. I've done some arranging, Ron Ellis has done some arranging, so whatever it calls for, but that they don't automatically just appear. You can't just go buy them. You know, they're especially arranged for us.
Who came up with the Excalibur connection?
I got to tell you, that was my fault. I happened to be watching that movie, and I said, "Oh, that's it."
That's the one, huh? Just that moment of inspiration there. Yeah. As the team, as the squad, you know, the folks all get together and do things. How much do the kids work as well on input? In other words, do they come up with ideas, suggestions, and participate in this, or is it, for lack of a better term, more like a class where you say this is the way it's going to be laid out, you know, on the field?
That's a good question. Most of the time, we really try to get the students to run the band, and we have a really good staff of students that help do that. They go through an audition process in March and April. They come in and they interview, private interviews, and we talk about leadership and that kind of thing, and we choose those students. And actually, when we pass out the drill charts, the student staff then takes over and make sure it's all taken care of. They take care of, at the beginning of the rehearsal, they all meet in their sections, and the student staff person is teaching the music. And like I said, at the beginning of the year, there's plenty of opportunity for them to think about what shows they'd like to do, and like to do more of that even. But every day, the students are working with students.
Do they break into divisions? In other words, do the woodwinds take off and you know, you come together after you've all had a chance to practice?
Absolutely. At the beginning of every rehearsal, the trombones are with the trombones, the piccolos are here, and everybody's in their little area working on something specific musically. And then we all get together and start doing everything as a full ensemble.
Trying to get watch the rain and make sure that you can get it together and gel. How about interaction with the team? As far as the football team, obviously you're out there on the field and working right now in the downtown bowl that we have. But how does it work with the team? Do you ever get input from them as to, you know, what they would like to see as far as something inspirational?
You know, not really. And we should look into that. You know, that'd be, what song do you guys want us to play at the end of the game? You know, say you win this game. What is the tune that you would like to hear that help you celebrate? That's a great idea. We haven't done that.
Well, I think in terms, I guess, of the cheerleaders or someone along the side, when the other squads, the other teams got the ball and your guys are defense or something like that.
We work closely with the cheerleaders. Linda Gooch is outstanding, and we've had a friendship for a long time, and so that relationship is very close, and they know what we're going to do, and they know what songs we have, and they've worked out routines for them already. And whenever we add something, we try to tell them so they can make sure they can create something. So the cheerleaders and the band work really well together.
Let's talk a little bit about the CD, the celebrating 25 years of music. First of all, is this the first one for the band?
This is the first CD we've done. Yep, it's this particular CD has just basic UCF stuff. Our fight song that we changed 7 or 8 years ago. We used to have the fight song for the University of Minnesota. It was the very same fight song, but we were in Division II at that time and 1AA, and it didn't matter. When we went to 1A, we had to have another fight song. So that's on there. The alma mater's on there, and a whole bunch of cheers and recognizable things. So if people can have it and use it for their tailgating and Christmas presents for grandma or something like that, you know.
And the whole idea was part of the fundraising effort?
Part of the fundraising, but mainly just exposure and just create this spirit around UCF so everybody knows what's going on at athletic events.
And we didn't get into the dollar figures, and don't want to shock folks because, as you said, it's very expensive. But the fundraising effort, how much are we looking at trying to set a goal for here to get the the accommodations that you're really looking at?
Yeah, right now there's a building design. We did some designing not this past summer, but a summer before this, And we're looking right about a $6 to $7 million building. So we'll probably have to raise, $3 or $4 million of that. It's healthy.
That's a healthy goal, to say the least. So it's
We're
gonna
not going to do it on CD sales, I promise you.
It's going to take some time, and maybe sell candy along the side there as well. One of the things that has been very prominent in our discussions on campus certainly is a stadium, and we won't get into all the politics of the stadium, but from your past experience and such, would that be an element that would be really, you think, a plus for the band and being able to, the bands, I should make a plural there?
Yeah, I think my personal opinion is having a stadium on campus is great for everybody that's into athletics. It just creates such a synergy on campus. And I believe, as we move from commuter school to not a commuter school, where everything is centrally located on campus, all the energy, all the activities, it's perfect. And for the band, it's not all that easy to pack up all your equipment every day and every game and get on buses and go to the Citrus Bowl. So it'll help us be more efficient. And we can even do more, I think, to create athletic energy prior to games, I think. I think it's a good thing.
I want to get back a little bit too I keep thinking about the routine for the kids, and every time you see a performance, whether it's your squad's performance on the field or a football team or a stage performance, there's a huge amount of rehearsal that's involved. How long does it take you to set up for a season, for a show? I mean, is it different once you get started? Is it easier, or does it take a lot of practice every single week?
It's not unlike a football team. And I keep saying that, but if a football team has, let's say they have a game on Monday night and they have to play a game on Saturday night, well, they only have 5 days to prepare for this team. And so the scheme is probably going to be maybe not as intricate as it would be if you had more time to prepare. And band is the same thing. For example, we did a show 2 weeks ago. Well, we have 2 weeks to prepare another show, which is going to happen tonight, on Friday night, as a matter of fact. So we have to be careful. We still want it to be entertaining. We still want it to have everything that the audience wants to see and keep them entertained. But we have to be careful about how we implement that and some of the things that we actually do, because we just don't have time to make them work. So it just depends. If we have a month before we have a performance, well, then we can do some things differently, make it a little more intricate. So it just depends.
Does it get easier as the season progresses, or harder?
Well, for the students, about now, this is October 21, and midterms are cramming on kids, and we do some other performances that aren't just athletic events. We'll go out and recruit for the University of Central Florida on October 29th at a high school band event. There are 30 high school bands at an event, and thousands of parents, and we're going to take our band up there and be a good model for them. And so we'll represent UCF beautifully. So that takes another weekend away. So about now is the time that we're hoping our schedule lightens up a little bit, and this is a good year for that. Our next game is homecoming, and so there are a lot of homecoming things around, so our part is diminished a little bit. Then we have an away game, and we're already prepared for that. So there is a time when the students go, okay, I got to take care of school here. I don't want to flunk out.
You mentioned recruiting. Is it, from your experience, you've been there a little while now, what are you seeing in terms of the numbers of kids who are interested in any of the bands, but in particular the marching band?
Well, that's always changing. It's always getting more interest and more interest. And when the students come on campus, particularly in the summer, when the new students are doing orientation, that's when we get a chance to talk with them. And of course, everybody's afraid of time. Parents will say to their students or their children, when you get to college now, you shouldn't do anything extracurricular. You just want to study. And actually, it works out better if they do fill their time with stuff, because they have to learn. I tell the students that there are 2 ways people fail in college. They can't get along with people, and they don't know how to manage time. So that's the very first thing they have to do, and the best thing to do is make yourself have time, a time plan. And marching band works perfect for these kids.
Well, you mentioned too that the marching band members are not really music majors for the most part. So for them, it's not only fun, but perhaps a diversion. Get off that math and the engineering problems.
They'll tell you that
got.
too. They'll have a terrible test or a terrible day, and they get out there with their friends and have a good time. It's a 2-hour credit for them, so they get credit for it. But they spend, if we have a game, including rehearsals and a game, they'll spend 22 or 23 hours a week.
That's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time. All of the music people, all music students don't really understand that it's not class time that's the killer. It's the stuff outside of class. Music majors have to understand that you have to practice 3 hours a day on their instrument if they're ever going to make it as a professional. And you don't get credit for that.
Right. Well, and also out on the field, I imagine it's not like you have a 1-hour class where you go out. You probably have blocks of times. That's the way it's normally worked out.
Well, we try not to. We try to make sure everything is done inside that class period because we know that they don't really have time to put any other hours in there.
Well, we appreciate the performances, and we look forward to them every week during football season.
It's a great time with it.
All the other bands as well during the course of the year. Yep. Dr. Richard Greenwood, thank you so much. The CD is celebrating 25 years of music. Good luck not only with the bands and all your other works, but also with the fundraising effort and getting those dollars together so you don't have to practice out in the rain anymore.
Well, I appreciate being here. It's been a pleasure to represent those great students that have come through our program.
Well, thanks once again, and thank you so much for joining us for another edition of Profiles. I'm Ed Highland. We'll see you next time.